following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Who needs McKinnon and McDavid when you can have Elias Pettersson and Patrik Laine?
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, sports reporter for Daily High Vancouver, joined as always by my brother Kyle Bhawan. Again, Locked On Canucks, part of the number one sports podcast in the world. And this is the number one thing the Canucks should do when the trade roster freeze is done. They should go get Patrik Laine from the Montreal Canadiens. Let's touch on that. Let's also get into the Canucks making history once again. I mean, this is unbelievable. Well, let's get into some more news and notes from around the NHL as well. But first and foremost, Kyle Bhawan, late to work today. I'm sure he was just so busy watching the opening ceremonies for the Olympics. But Kyle Bhawan, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, man. I don't even know the Olympic ceremonies are starting off today, man. I forgot there's more Olympic sports than hockey. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I only been addicted to the Winter Games once, and that was in 2010, obviously. Like, could you name me 10 Winter Olympic sports, Trevor, Mr. Sports Reporter? Like, if you do that quiz, like, and you don't pass, like, will Daily High fire you? Like, can you name me 10 Olympic winter sports right now?
Okay, let's go. Curling, ice hockey, speed skating, cross-country skiing, ski jumping, luge, moguls, skeleton, bobsleigh, figure skating. Boom, bam, let's go.
Man, that was quick. That was 10 in like 12 seconds. You're a true Canadian, man. You're a true Canadian, and you know what? Since I like work different hours than I did 4 years ago or 8 years ago or 12 years ago, like, is this the year, especially as a 32-and-a-half-year-old, where I watch more Olympics? Find out in a couple minutes. I'll have that answer for you. Anyways, Patrik Laine, Trevor, you're doing some math. Some people are reporting that Montreal wants to add, right? They want to add at the deadline. They want to be a threat. They want to be a contender. They want to reward the young guys. They want to take a shot. And to do so, they need to get rid of some cap. And Patrik Laine is the obvious choice for so many reasons. So many reasons, I'm sorry. He hasn't played a lot of hockey this year. They've had a lot of success. Obviously, they don't need him. And he makes a ton of money. So, yeah, Trevor, explain to the listeners, because we're not accustomed to like viewing smart general managing, so maybe we don't know how these things work. Explain why the Canucks should be like the first to call the Montreal Canadiens and, you know, say, yo, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch my back. No,
Whoa.
No.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch your sack. What is going on, man? Okay.
No, I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to find another word, and then I said, yeah, anyways, just, Trevor, why should the Canucks call the Montreal Canadiens and say, bonjour, je m'appelle tu?
Okay, so I'll start with the Patrik Laine rumors. So he's been popping up on trade boards. There's been some reporting that the Canadiens would even be willing to retain like 50% of his contract. This guy is making $8.7 million for one more season. And the motivation is they're in the midst of a playoff hunt in a relatively wide open Eastern Conference. They have less than $1 million in cap space, and they can't do anything really unless they move salary out. And Patrik Laine is a guy that has played no part in their success this season, suffered the abdominal injury back in October. He was expected to be about 3 to 4 months, so he is expected to return at some point this season. But he's played 5 games. I mean, overall, most people know the Patrik Laine story. You know, he had the 40 goals in his rookie season or whatever it was, but much like Elias Pettersson, he's been a bit of a disappointment here in his mid-20s, I should say. Another reason why the Canucks should consider this is because, like I said, that if the Canadiens are willing to, again, reportedly, they're willing to attach an asset and retain him to 50% just to get off his contract. In a league where, you know, this isn't used as much, the salary cap going up. I think if you're the Vancouver Canucks, you try to get a bigger asset and take the whole goddamn contract off the Montreal Canadiens. How do they do this? Because the Canucks don't have $8.7 million in cap space. I think it's trade Connor Garland or trade some salary out the door. But here's the thing. Look at it this way.
Whammy. I like this, Trevor. Keep going.
Exactly, right? You trade Connor Garland for an asset. Boom, bam, get the cap space. Then you take on Laine, get an asset for that. Now you're starting to cook, man. You could have, 3 draft picks out of that? I mean, now you're starting to really accelerate the rebuild and collect draft picks. This is the path forward for the Canucks. Go get it done.
Trevor, can you please say that again? Because I was cutting you off because my balls are tingling. Like, I was getting excited. Like, oh my God, we might pull a double whammy when it comes to could we get an extra 2 picks in the top 60? Probably, because we get something for Garland and we get something for Laine, right? But since I cut you off, can you just repeat it for the audio listeners? Break that down again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my theory here is that the Canucks should absolutely get Patrik Laine out of Montreal. To do that, they'd have to move cap space out. The easiest guy to trade in terms of moving cap space is Connor Garland, right? You trade him, get off his $4.95 million salary. You probably get if you want to estimate a return, let's say they get 2 second-round picks for Connor Garland. Now you've opened up the cap space to take on all of Laine's contract. So you trade Garland out for draft picks. Then you bring in Laine and get an asset for taking on Laine's contract. This seems like a must-do move for the Vancouver Canucks. You absolutely have to explore doing this move. The deadlines are tight, right? We're going to come back into the Olympic break, and there's going to be less than 2 weeks until the trade deadline. So this is something the Canucks got to be working on. Absolutely. I don't see any other path forward for this team right now. Collect draft picks. We don't need a whole. I love Connor Garland. He's a dog. He's a good example for the young kids. You don't need Connor Garland on this team. Get the draft picks, trade him out, and get Laine. Thank you very much.
Holy dude, double whammy there. We had to say that twice. We had to break it down twice because we know Jim Rutherford and Alvin, they listen to the show, and sometimes you got to hear things twice to fully understand it. So thank you, Trevor Beggs, for saving the organization. And dude, if the Canucks can take on all $8+ million of Laine's contract, I'm asking for Montreal's first round pick. I'm doing it. And remember, Montreal did something similar, but on the opposite side of things when they took on Sean Monahan. So, Trevor, again, I don't have a lot of faith that Alvin and Rutherford are going to be able to pull this off and demand the extra first. But I'm shooting for that. That's the first thing I'm asking for. If we don't get it, you work downwards. But come on, you know what I'm saying? Give me the first. We'll help you out that much. And Trevor, how about this? How about this? What if it's Patrik Laine and a first round pick for Connor Garland?
Yeah, well, that was the other thing I was going to bring up as well, right? Could Connor Garland be a fit with the Montreal Canadiens? So what are you saying? Patrik Laine and a first for Connor Garland? Yeah, I think you absolutely do that deal. Would the Canadiens do it? I do think a lot of teams are loath to get rid of their first round pick. Do the Canadiens want their big move to be Connor Garland as well? Because that is really their trade deadline chip. If you're going to do it, is bring in Connor Garland. I mean, they what the Canadiens really need is help down the center ice position.
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't think they're going to do it. I think
look, how about Elias Pettersson? How about okay, so we retain. What if we retain only $2 million on? I don't even know if we're allowed to do that on Elias Pettersson. Maybe there's a minimum, but whatever. Could it be Elias Pettersson going to Montreal and we get Laine and the first, and we get some extra stuff too? I don't know. Could that be a way for the Canucks? I know that's a lot of money for Montreal, but maybe we retain. I'm curious.
Yeah, I think if you're doing that, you got to retain on Pettersson. Or they got to ship out more money, right? Just looking at their roster, do you ship out a Kirby Dach or an Alex Newhooks who have been good, not great for them? When they bet on them as young guys, maybe a Josh Anderson who's only got a 5-team no trade list. I think we're starting to get into fantasy land a little bit in terms of juicing the trade and make it even bigger. But I know we're dreaming, man. We're dreaming. We look, you got to trade guys off this team, right? Pettersson, Garland, you got to trade him. So I like the creativity, man.
And to be honest, it's creative, but again, for Montreal's purpose, it's the same way you blocked my Garland proposal. It's is that the big fish that Montreal wants? You know what I'm saying? If I'm Montreal, I don't know their draft capital situation. I know they probably gave up. I don't know if they gave up any future draft capital for Noah Dobson. Did they have 2 first-round picks in last year's draft? I don't know. I have to do the math. But But if I'm Montreal, that first round pick is so valuable that valuable that they have right now, and maybe even the one that they have in 2027. Like, you put those two in a trade package, and then you throw something else in there. Like, how far are you from acquiring a guy that could be as impactful, or maybe like a tier below, like a Quinn Hughes? Like, we just saw the Quinn Hughes trade, right? You need like 4 first round capital assets, and you get the 3rd best player in hockey. Like, if I'm Montreal, I'm being very, very careful, like you said, with those moves, with that, with who they want to target to help this team like take the next step. So yeah, I don't think that's Garland. I don't think that's Pettersson. But yeah, maybe there is something there where, we do help Montreal out by taking Laine, and maybe we got a couple seconds. I don't know, but all in all, fascinating stuff. And you know what, Trevor, I shouldn't be thinking about the Montreal Canadiens, but maybe because the Olympics are around the corner and I'm feeling more Canadian. I'm going to say this. I want Montreal making the right moves. The NHL is way better when Montreal is just doing its thing. I got no dog in the race. I'm not going to cheer for the Montreal Canadiens in April, but I like watching hockey, and there's no better arena on TV than the arena out in Montreal. I don't even, what's it called right now? The Bell? Is it still called
the Bell Center? Yeah.
Bell Center. There you go. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. There's no better TV, like no better arena on CBC than the Bell Center. So, you know what? Go Canadians, go!
Wow, let's go, man! Let's go. A lot of Canadians would not like that, except for Canadiens fans. But I'll end it on this note. I think in our more far-fetched examples, I do think the Canadiens are more likely to take on Elias Pettersson than Connor Garland. I mean, you got long-term commitments with both players. They need help down the middle. That's the number one glaring weak spot for this team. I know you got Michael Haig, who's a youngster who could fill in that role. So maybe you don't want to commit to a guy like Pettersson for that long.
They're not.
But conceivably, Pettersson could be a solid number 2 behind Nick Suzuki, even though he's making a lot more money than Nick Suzuki. That's part of the issue. So we'll see what happens. Let us know in the comments. Should the Canucks be trading Garland, getting draft picks, and then trading for Laine to get even more draft picks? I mean, I don't know how you say no to that scenario. Maybe the better question is, do you think it will happen? Don't answer that question. I don't want your honesty, Canucks fans. We'll be back on this side here to talk more about who knows on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's talk about bum. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially closes. This is Super Bowl 60 with the Seahawks, or with the Patriots. And FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game that everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. Except the Seahawks fans, we're celebrating all year long, baby. Let's go!
Hold up, you're talking way too early. You may be crying on Monday, man. You may never listen to another Drake song again. Trevor, I know
I don't like Drake anyways, man. I'm a Drake hater.
Yeah, come on, Trevor. Don't lie to the people, man. Your wedding song was One Dance, all right?
I honestly, as soon as the Seahawks and Patriots started meeting, like I knew they were meeting the Super Bowl, deleted every Drake song I had saved on Spotify. Gone, man. He's dead to me. All Drakes are dead to me.
Whoa, okay. Trevor.
Go Seahawks, go, and visit FanDuel.com to get started. Oh, yeah. Let's shout out our friends over at Doer, baby. Do the Doer, man. Man, oh, man. Look, Doer, they changed my life, man. Look, the shirts, the jeans. I'm looking good. I'm feeling fresh. And not only that, these jeans aren't just any old jeans. They're the most comfortable jeans in the world. I've literally been wearing them every day. I got rid of all my old jeans with rips in them. And man, oh, man, sometimes I even sleep in these bad boys, too. They're that damn comfy. They're comfortable enough for a plane ride, professional enough for a business meeting, or for a date with Kyle Bhawan. Plus, the max fibers that help you regulate your body temperature so you don't feel like you're overheating below the belt, because no one wants a sweaty crotch, and you won't have one with the Doer jeans. I know you love Doer as much as I do, so it's time to get your own pair. Check out the Doer store here in Vancouver at 1757 West 4th Avenue. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONCanucks in store to get 15% off your first order, or shop online at doer.ca/LockedOnCanucks for 15% off. Don't wait. Go to DUER.ca/LockedOnCanucks.
Yep, do the Doer and get more thick, man, in the jeans. No, like you don't have to get more thick, but like, it just happens naturally with Doer. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Canuck, Kyle Bhawan, and the second best dad in the world. The second best dad in the world, maybe the second biggest Seattle Seahawks fan that I know. Trevor, I'm going to ask you a big question here, okay? Before we talk about Gavin McKenna and how, we got some updates, Law and Order edition. Trevor, Sunday, Super Bowl, this is the first time you're going to be watching your team in a final as a dad. And you're such a good dad. Like, you're so hands-on. I've never seen a father more hands-on than you. Like, it's like, I am so happy that my girlfriend has not seen me be a dad, so she doesn't expect me to do all the things you do, okay? Because, man, oh, man, it's going to be Sunday. It's going to be the Super Bowl, and you're still going to be a dad. I'm assuming you're not dropping the kids off for daycare. Like, you want to celebrate together, but it's like, how do you do it all? Like, I'd be so close to telling my kids to shut up. That'd be the first time I'd be mean to my kids, like if they were bothering me during the championship game. So I'm low-key praying for you, and I imagine that you have been like mentally preparing for like the distraction that will be Sunday.
Yeah, I've been mentally preparing since my first kid was born over 5 years ago. So it's nothing new, man. I mean, look, I'll always have the memories of what was it, Super Bowl 48? The Seahawks went over the Broncos, where I was a young chap in the bar just spending a whole day celebrating with Seahawks fans. And yeah, it's a little different this time around, but celebrating with the kids, celebrating with a few close friends. It's definitely different when, you have some people over your house and you're the one cooking food and looking after kids. There's definitely a lot more distractions. Yeah. But hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
But let's be real, man. Hey, I love your family. I love your wife. She's a sister to me. Okay. But she got to do the cooking on Sunday. Like, she got to leave you alone. No, she got to leave you alone. Like this. Like, I know it's 2026 and that sentence, you're not allowed to say that sentence out loud anymore, right? But I'm just saying, if she ain't a diehard Seahawks fan and you're in the Super Bowl, Trevor, you should get the day off that day. No, you don't need to be a dad that day unless like things are like burning. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sorry, bro. This is your day. I'm pro, bro. I know it's Valentine's Day month. Okay. But bro, like you can't be at the kitchen while the game's going on. You know what I'm saying? No way. Unless that's like a coping mechanism to deal with your stress. Then I completely understand where you can watch the game and do something else so you kind of calm down. But you got to be glued to the couch, Trevor. No?
Yeah, you call my wife and let her know, man.
Let her know. I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna be like, yo, you better leave Trevor alone on Sunday. Like, I hate the Seahawks, and I'm like, yo, just let him have this one. Let him have this one. Yo, Trevor, you know what? Drop your kids at my house. There you go.
Nice. Sounds good, man. There we go. Speaking of the kids, man, Gavin McKenna, a little bit of an update on him today, man. So I think there's a bit of a catch here. I mean, pretty widely reported now that the felony charge has been dropped against him. That was the charge that carried up to a 20-year prison sentence. Really just looking at the Pennsylvania laws, you really have to show like a disregard for human life was one of the phrases that was used. And, punching a dude in the mouth for insulting your mom. Probably doesn't quite elicit that. So that charge was dropped, but there's still 3 other charges pending against him, right? The simple assault charge, disorderly conduct, and harassment. So this guy's not out of the woods yet. I think the most serious one was probably never going to go through. And look at the situation now, like even with simple assault, first time offenders in the state, you can still have a criminal record. But you're unlikely to face any jail time. So we'll see where this one goes. But I guess a slice of good news for Gavin McKenna today. And look, man, I know it's funny that the county from the district said to not believe the internet rumors today about himself defending himself and all that stuff, and saying this, someone like verbally insulting you is no reason to assault someone.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I beg to differ, but I'm not a cop.
Oh, hey, Trevor. Sometimes I question your father, your fatherhood. Is that how it's said? Anyways, look, if they got the video and they threw out the aggravated assault charge. I'm assuming, well, obviously it's not like McKenna decked this dude 100 times. You know what I'm saying? It was probably a 1-2, aka, and a broken jaw that was like proof of like the 1-2 that McKenna like might have unleashed, but that's not enough to say that he went above and beyond to like inflict that damage. He just probably connected. He probably just connected. Little 1-2. If they had the video proof and they took out that part when the guy's concussed and has a broken jaw, allegedly, you know what I'm saying, Trevor? It was probably real quick work. And that dude's probably not chirping again if that's the case. Like he kind of like caused that trouble, quote unquote, for himself. That being said, county sheriff saying don't believe the internet rumors. Yeah, there's truth to that, man. Like we don't know anything. Like does it make sense? Sure, but Trevor, you and I are on the internet every day now. Like we got to make sure people know, like more than ever, based on all this artificial intelligence and this and that. Like, yo, you cannot believe the internet. You cannot believe the internet. You can't. You can't. And what did they say? Like the court of law. What's the thing when it's like the court of law to the public or whatever? Like that saying where
court of public opinion.
Court of public opinion. Thank you, Trevor, for going to school. Yeah, like just keep in mind, like that doesn't mean ish, right? And it's okay for that not to ever mean ish when like, they have to go through the process and, we'll find out what happened. We'll find out what happened. But I'm on that sheriff's side. Like, don't believe everything you hear, and more so than ever right now, Trevor. Trevor, we had somebody in the comments say this, Andrew Ung, 92, saying, careful, Kyle, a parent's job is to fill a kid's bucket full of self-esteem so the world can't poke holes in it. I don't know why you said careful, Kyle. Maybe you thought I was telling you to ignore your kids on Sunday.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah.
But Trevor, on top of like making sure like your kids have the most self-esteem in the world, this is why I call you the second best dad in the world. Trevor's kids don't even know what a computer is, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They don't even know.
That's not completely
They don't even know what a television is, bro. These guys, keep staying. I applaud you, man. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. Technology don't matter, bro. Don't teach the kids about technology. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Trevor.
Yeah, man. I actually live in a treehouse. This background is also artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
All right, man. Oh, man. So Gavin McKenna, gotta be drafted by the Canucks. I think this is a must now. Everyone feels this way now. He's got a bit of fire under his belly. Go get this guy, man. Go get this guy at first or second overall or whatever it is.
No,
hopefully the Canucks. A conversation we're gonna have before the draft lottery is what did the Canucks do if they get the third overall picks? I think we all know McKenna and Stenberg are going 1 and 2.
Okay, thanks a lot, asshole. Thanks for putting that out there.
Speaking of me being an asshole, I'm gonna be even more of an asshole as we wrap up here.
Oh wow,
Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at Indeed. And who knows, man? Maybe me and Kyle have a falling out, getting a fight over Drake or the Seahawks or me being an asshole. Who knows? But if that happens, we're going to be looking on Indeed, all right? Because if you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posted on other sites because Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. And look, if we need someone for the show, whether I get kicked out or Kyle leaves, we'd go straight to Indeed and be very specific about what we need. Real experience, not just a resume buzzword. And the sponsored jobs on Indeed, they boost your posts to the people who are the best match for the role. And that makes all the difference in the world. So spend more time interviewing candidates who check all the boxes, boom, bam, with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the show, you'll get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast, Locked On Canucks. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Welcome to Locked On Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the space to give you the West Coast bias. One love to, Trevor's little studio over there with the great artwork, some of the best artwork I've ever seen. You just got it, man. You're living the dream. If you win the Super Bowl on Sunday, I hope that you go on your sun deck and just look at the clouds and just I don't even know. Say thank you to whoever's looking after you, man. For real.
I will, man. Absolutely. I'm not like I said, I got a little cocky in the ad read, but I'm not taking the Pats too lightly because you can't be too cocky when you haven't won yet.
You can't be too cocky against Drake. Like, what are the chances that Drake's about to perform at the Super Bowl, but this time in like Drake May form after Kendrick did what he did last year? Like it's pretty poetic, and my money is on the Patriots. That's when I don't really care about any team playing in the Super Bowl. Trevor, before you go on your little rant about what you want to like get mad about, like what you spoke about something like, oh yeah, we should, like, hopefully the Canucks don't draft number 3. Who would they take if they go to number 3? Not Stenberg, not McKenna, because they won't be there. It made me think about this. Like, Trevor, why can you do the math? Like, why are people saying like, oh, the most likely spot for the Canucks to draft would be 3rd? Like, I'm trying to understand that math. Or like that.
Yeah, let me bring up the exact numbers here, but basically there's lottery odds for what spot each team would draft. And so if the Canucks were get the first overall pick, their lottery odds at drafting first overall are 25%, right? I'm trying to find the math of the rest, but I believe the odds of drafting second are a little below that, and third is like a 50% chance.
Okay.
So I'll try to dig a little bit further on that if we keep talking about it. But yeah, basically it's, even though you have the best odds of first overall, the most likely spot you're going to land is 3rd.
Yeah, great math there by Trevor. Just saying it out, like ChatGPT, like we're not lying. That's actually the truth, and I kind of like, I kind of like understand why that would be. It's just basic math and basic odds, and the fact that like nothing's guaranteed, even if you have the highest chances. So obviously, like, you're not like, you don't have a 51% chance going into the draft lottery if you're the 32nd ranked team. It just makes the most sense, but it would just be heartbreaking. I think it would be heartbreaking. I think Trevor, it's okay to say that like Canucks fans deserve the number 1 overall pick. And I know it's not a like shoe-in and who's that guy, but the Canucks deserve, after what we went through this season and what we've gone through the last 2 years, and only having one good season in our last 15. I know we burned a couple buildings down and cracked open the doors at London Drugs and Victoria's Secret and Swimco, and we burned a couple police cars down, and we did it again. I know we rioted twice, but it's been 15 years. Can like we get a complete reset with the first overall pick? Please, hockey gods. And I know you guys gifted us Quinn Hughes, but he was a soft captain and we made the wrong choice. Like, I don't know. Like, just please give us the first overall pick. And, to be honest, I know he's a winger, but give us Gavin McKenna. And Trevor, I'm going to piss people off with this too. Give us a good old Canadian boy, man. I know. Don Cherry 2.0, look at me. But give me the good old Canadian kid at number 1 overall. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And this is probably because of the Olympics, or it's probably because, dude, I'm just tired of being a mediocre team. Bro, give me the Canadians on this team. I don't want to be cheering for the Canucks anymore moving forward, where we have like 1.5 Canadians playing on this team. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. I'm sorry. Say what you want. But I want Gavin McKenna, and that 1-2 that he might have landed on the kid. Hopefully the kid's all right, and therapy and money and time will heal the wound. And yeah, I don't know, something about that. I don't want to say the violence made me feel a way about Gavin McKenna more, but I'm like, I would, some passion, some passion. I don't know. Anyways, Trevor, continue.
Yeah, well, I was just looking into more of the draft lottery odds. So they've actually decreased slightly. So here's the thing, and I know I always, I always say the Ottawa Senators are my second team. But if the Ottawa Senators fall in the bottom 10 and they enter the draft lottery, they actually boost the Canucks odds by a couple percent. So I'm now an anti Senators fan. My second team, I'm kicking them to the curb. But yeah, so right now the odds, Dan Jardine, shout out to the everydayer here on Locked On Canucks. The odds are basically 25% for first, 20% for second, and 55% for the 3rd overall pick. So yeah, well, the Canucks are in a pretty good spot to have the best lottery odds. And look, if you want a bit of comfort, I know it's only 25% drafting first overall, but the next closest team right now, that's the St. Louis Blues. Their odds are at 13%, so it's like nearly double the odds of the second worst team in the league. So there is pretty big benefit to being the worst team in the NHL right now, which the Vancouver Canucks are in the driver's seat, 7 points clear of the 31st place team in the NHL. Now, Hey, Kyle, before I want to get out of here, quick pivot. I want to talk about the Vancouver Canucks making history, man. Because this one's wild. This one's wild. The Vancouver Canucks right now, they're on pace not to have a single 20-goal scorer on this team in a full season. I started looking back to the teams in the 70s, and, apologies if you guys want to dig and I missed this, let me know. I started looking back at the teams in the 70s and 80s, the really bad teams. The Canucks have always had a 20-goal scorer on the team. Even 2016-17, which was a bad season, Bo Horvat hit 20 on the nose. The Canucks right now are on pace to not have a single 20-goal scorer on this team. And that has never happened in their history. And there's been a lot of bad Canucks hockey. So, look, obviously there's a couple guys that could ruin it. Kiefer Sherwood, of course, would have hit it if he stayed here. But just a wild stat. Just a wild stat for some salt in the wound for this just brutal Canucks season. And, hey, maybe another reason you got to trade Elias Pettersson.
Well, Trevor, see what you did there?
What?
Trevor, man. You just said it, man. I don't know if, I don't know. You shouldn't believe everything you hear here on the internet, but I'm pretty sure you just said get Elias Pettersson out of the country.
Yeah, the other thing to consider, and maybe there's a commenter that said, let's see if we can find it in the comments, baby. Yeah, it's Stromberg in the comments, or Stormberg in the comments saying Montreal might be a little too intense for EP40. Yeah, I think if EP40 is getting traded, he's not waiving his no trade clause to go to another Canadian team. So I think that was something that we didn't mention that was certainly worth mentioning. So yeah, I guess I am saying get EP40 out of the country.
Wow.
Jeez.
No, I think people we might have liked a bit, but before you said that statement, it was like, oh, if I'm Elias Pettersson's agent, that's what I'm telling management. See, Trevor, can't believe everything you hear on the internet, man, because people can clip that and Trevor, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of what we just joked about there, getting out of all this, the world being what it is, and now we're taking a complete right turn or a left turn. I want Team USA to just falter so bad at the Olympics this year, so bad. I just want them to choke. I want them to not even get close to the gold medal game. As much as I want to see Canada and US play eventually, I could care less too if they don't make it. I want the Americans to fail, and honestly, they deserve it. They deserve it, man. They deserve they I don't know. They don't really deserve to have a lot of pride right now. You know what I'm saying? And I've never seen a bunch of second place losers talk so much and also brag about changing the game forever. It's you guys need to 1980s, the miracle on ice. Those guys were working 2 or 3 jobs and they won a gold medal. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even talk that much. And I don't know, something about their cockiness and just America, nah. I want America choking, just absolutely falling flat on their face.
Yeah, there we go. Callum Sandu said it best in the comments. Latvia is going to beat Team USA. We did talk a bit about that on yesterday's episode of Locked On Canucks. Go check it out. Callum was also asking, are we taking a break during the Olympics? Hell no, man, because it's Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every day. Will it be 30 minutes of Canucks talk? Probably not, but we'll be here every damn day. Let's go. What's up,
Trevor? You should talk to the bosses and see if we can change the name for 2 weeks to Locked On Canada.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Kyle Bhawan with the ideas, man. There we go.
Hey, man. Big bucks. This is why you got to hit the links in the bio, okay? Substack, but more importantly, there's a link to a waiting list for a children's book that we got coming out in a couple months. It's called How to Fly. It's about a star that's only wish is to become a shooting star. So hit that link and go Canada go. Trevor, get us out of here, man.
Go Canada go. One love to you and you for tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. Whether you're listening on audio, watching on YouTube, we love each and every one of you. On the podcast side, go follow us, leave a 5-star review. On the YouTube side, hit the goddamn like button and subscribe to the show. It helps us out a lot. Go Canucks go. More importantly, go Canada go. Most importantly, go Seahawks go. And we'll be back soon here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.